Alright guys, so it's been a while since I last recorded, and that's just mainly because I'm running low on stuff to do as I'm waiting on parts. Still need to get the shocks in, and the third member should be coming soon. What I'm doing right now is I'm just cycling everything, making sure everything checks out before I final weld everything on. So far I've done a bunch of measurements, such as measuring from there to there and measuring across diagonally between points throughout its travel to find if it's moving around or how straight everything is. And everything seems to be checking out perfectly fine. All the upper link mounts seem to be perfect, and the lower link mounts seem to be perfect as well. Everything is straight and true. So the test I'm doing right now is I want to see, will the rear end move side to side at all, and if so, how much throughout its travel. And I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but down here I got my laser and I just lined it up to a random point. I don't think it matters. You guys might be able to see that with the light off better, but I just lined it up to the center of this hole for the moment because it's just kind of out of the way of sort of the center area. And I tried to make it as perpendicular, I guess, to it, so this isn't like over there or over here. It's sort of like lined up straight with that. As good as, I just kind of eyeballed it, but it's pretty straight. So now I'll just let down this jack. I'll lower this jack down until it hits these, and then I'll take this wood piece off, jack it back up, and then lower it down all the way as far as it can go down by the laser being shined right in the center. If it moves side to side or at all, the laser beam will either go this way or that way, and I'll see. But I believe that it's not gonna move at all, and I'm hoping that it doesn't move at all at least, but we'll see how this turns out and if it moves at all. You guys can kind of see from that angle, and now I'll just lower it down. Alright, so you can see, sorry that the phone's on the tripod, but you can see that the laser is pretty much close to the center, and I'm not going to measure. This isn't necessarily the best way to measure how much side to side movement the axle has, but it is just a good way to eyeball it and see if it's moving side to side at all, because if it moves by like an inch or so, then you definitely know that something was off. But since this didn't really move at all, or it might have moved like maybe a quarter of an inch at most, I'm perfectly fine with that much side to side movement, because that just shows that everything seems to be lined up perfectly fine and that it will cycle okay. There is a margin of error with this stuff, and this is perfect. So that's kind of what I expected. Okay guys, so it's been a day since I last recorded. You saw me welding on some of the tabs, and actually pretty much ran out of those. I'm keeping a little bit just in case I need them for actually mounting something. So I ordered some new trick tabs. Alright, so yesterday I was working on making some tabs that would go something like that, and that would just capture sort of the fuel cell top strap. But I did spend quite a while making these tabs, but I didn't end up liking the way they looked. I ordered some trick tabs that have provisions for a 1/2" bolt. This way I could just weld on some trick tabs right here, and it would make my life a lot easier, and I won't have to make some tabs like this. So pretty much they're like these, but with a bigger bolt hole. I think these trick tabs would work for a fuel cell strap, but I just feel like those bolts are a little bit small for something that could be holding that much weight. So I got those ordered, as well as some more trick tabs that are these size. And this is kind of the stuff that adds up that you don't think about when building a truck like this. Is tabs are very expensive. It's about, you don't have to go with these special kind of tabs, but they're always nice to build. It's nice to build your truck the right way and not have to deal with, I don't know, having a nut and capturing it. And of course you don't want to have to hand make all of these. So stuff like this just kind of adds up, and it makes the build a little bit more expensive. But yeah, so I did end up ordering some more tabs. Also yesterday, I ended up doing some finish work on this. Alright, so you could see I welded all the seams up on here, and then I blended it out as best as I could with just a flap disc and a grinder, and it turned out pretty good right here. I still have to do this part, and then this will end up looking like this. If you don't know, there was a cut all the way down this seam, so you can hardly tell that it was over there except for these lower spots. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get these covered in primer eventually, or else it'll rust. So, and then another thing from yesterday is I actually took out the rear window. On the interior cage, these plates tie the cab cage to the cab, and there's bolts that hold in the back window, and I had to cut the little tabs that hold the bolts in to get the rear window out. And I actually did end up breaking this side of the window on accident because I was pulling on it too hard. But the reason I took that out is just so I can get closer to here and finish that out easier, because the rear window had this little piece that would stick out kind of far. So now that that's out, it's going to be way easier. But I am waiting on a welding blanket to come in the mail so that I don't cover the inside of the truck in a bunch of dust and whatnot. If you didn't remember, I had the rear sliding window, and I actually didn't really like that style of window because the subwoofer would make it rattle sometimes, and it wouldn't seal as good as just a straight window. So on eBay, I can get a new rear window for about $160 shipped, so it's not too bad. And then when I was making the inside cage, I kind of ruined these windows because of the angle grinder would shoot sparks at the windows and it pitted them. So I'll probably end up getting all 4 new windows except for the windshield, because that's a new windshield. So when I get all these windows, one day I'll have them all tinted and it'll look much better than what I have now. For today, I'm gonna start working, or I'm gonna try to wrap up the fuel system if I can. I was waiting on a couple more fittings, mainly this female to female is pretty much all I needed. And yeah, so I set up this little light so it'll be easier to film back down there. Since I broke the rear window and glass went all over the place, I was forced to clean the shop up a little bit. So it's going to be a little bit more comfortable than normal down there. I won't be sitting in as many metal shavings, but we'll see. I could always get cut by a stray piece of glass or something. It's all part of the fun. Okay, so I got my return line and my feed line put in, and then I use these little fitting connectors to keep it tied up together. And then I'll just attach these right to the tube with a zip tie or something. But yeah, now that those two lines are going there, I just need to put this filter regulator in and attach it, and everything should work out based off that.